Space. Space.
Welcome to the actual universe. You may find it's different from our homeland. Should you be able to adapt to the laws of physics in a short time, I am your advisor and will help you through this mission. Everything here is yours. As one of Cosmo and the pioneer of the Dyson Sphere program, you will explore this cluster step by step. By using the resources here to construct the Dyson Sphere to provide energy for the center brain to maintain homeland, starting from scratch. I have chosen a designated planet for you to start the mission, which has necessary resources for initial development. Now please drive the space capsule to the planet.
So, this is something that's been in early access for some amount of time. Looks to be reaching a pretty decent level of maturity and completion.
Now you are about to reach the designated planet.
Something that checks a lot of boxes for things that interest me. Yeah, Factorio Galaxy. That's a good way to put this. That punches it all together quite nicely.
This is Icarus, a lightweight industrial mecha with powerful functionality. You can use the arrow keys or right-click on the destination to control its movement. In this mission, you will manipulate Icarus to travel beyond the stars and create miracles. You can use the same operation to collect resources, such as trees, gravel, etc. In the meantime, hold down Shift and right-click to give a series of commands. You receive several items after recycling the space capsule. Click the inventory button in the lower right corner of the screen to open the cabin to view them.
Okay, on previous test plays I had missed the mention of being able to queue up instructions for the robot. That makes recycling much more convenient.
You can hold down mouse middle button drag to rotate the angle of view, or slide the mouse wheel to zoom in and out.
Where it gets so. Right off the bat, this very strongly takes after a lot of how Factorio is put together. This is a good thing. The ways that it decides to go about differing are interesting. It seems pretty good about being iterative. And let's see, hey, science tree. What do I need to magnets? Make 10 what have yous over here. Slam those into existence.
Yet you have not unlocked the construction menu, which will be done automatically when complete any technology research. Click the technology tree button at the bottom right of the screen to open the technology tree and activate a research.
One of the things that remains very distinctly early access is English is not the first language that this is being developed in, so the translation is a bit raw in its current state. It's functional. It gets its point across. Robot does its best.
Energy is required in all mecha activities. If it is depleted, the activities will be restricted. You can click the Mecha Panel button at the bottom right of the screen to open the Mecha Panel and resupply fuel into the fuel chamber. You have created a mining machine to achieve ore collecting automation. Pick it up from the inventory or select it on Gathering of Construction menu to build it. You can use the R key to rotate the mining machine for covering more veins. The more veins covered, the faster the ores will be gathered. If you want to ignore grid snapping, try holding down the Shift key. Wind turbine. You have established your first power grid. Not all power facilities has its power supply area. Use the Tesla Tower to extend the area of the power grid. You have done building the first power transmission facility, Tesla Tower. It can carry out short-distance wireless power transmission and expand the power supply area of the power grid.
I can get a lot of this into that area. Not quite all, but a fair deal. Alright. But yes, you need to get starter materials, you need to gradually build up machines that do things on your behalf. Establish supply chains, crawl your way up a tech tree. Acquire various, tangible improvements to your robot and other equipment. With the eventual hook being that, as you can see from the visible curvature on the map here, this is just one of many worlds. Also, robots hungry. Let's just throw a bunch of biomaterial in there, fuel up, get charged. The eventual, very large and long-term goal is to build the big orb. To cage a star. Yeah, we got like non-battery going on at the moment in the bot, which just slows down its ability to do things, but doesn't completely shut it off. Plants don't burn all that well. It's fine. We'll find better supplies. Alright, let me try to focus on the first couple of things to do out of the way. Auto metallurgy. Conveyor belts. Assembly machine. And basic science. And a few other things. Make a list. And queue various tasks.
one of your production facilities is not powered, you need to keep it within the power coverage area and supply it with power facilities in order to maintain its normal works.
A natural part of the initial wind-up of everything here is that you're going to ramp directly into all sorts of bottlenecks while you're getting started. Is this... Yes, that is close enough to be in-network. Good. Power is 100% satisfied. For now. Research I need to do requires circuits and coils. I'm getting a lot of those thrown together. So that the working can begin. Go find some rocks. Our initial 4 pillars of manufacturing: iron, copper, carbon, and miscellaneous. There we go. There's rocks. There's hundreds of thousands of rocks. It'll do. It's a start. And as one can see from the curvature on all the lines here in our immediate area. No, really, each of these maps is an authentic spherical projection. Orbs all the way down. There is, but yeah, jump ahead here. Yeah, so map view.
In the planet view mode, you can hold down the middle mouse button drag, rotate the angle of view, and hold down
Got a
the
north,
right mouse
you got a
button,
south.
drag to roll the angle of view. Press N key to point to the front to the North Pole.
Point to the front to the North Pole. Here we
In
are.
the planet view mode, slide the mouse wheel to enter the star map mode.
And you can furthermore get the long view. Let's see what's in our immediate system. So we're here on this Mediterranean-type planet. It has its various data. Some manner of relatively early research will give you, you know, the ability to scan and get the full breakdown on how many delicious nutrients are stored there. Here we got sand ball and an ice ball. And there is a gas giant that our current residence is orbiting as a moon. There we go. Extend the grid and get a little closer to the things really being online.
You built a smelter, which can smelt basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper ingots automatically. While you want to make the raw materials and products get in and out of it autonomously, you need to use sorters and conveyor belts. After selecting the recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
Yeah, just gonna use these to clear out my original inventory. A couple of gears. And logistic. Just crunch into that fuel. Alright.
You have received the sorter and the conveyor belt, which can achieve full automation.
Belts.
Use the conveyor belt to transport the
And
power
grabbers.
from the mining machine.
Cubes.
And the sorter can deliver the ores from the conveyor belt to the smelter for automatic smelting.
We're getting somewhere. Bit at a time. To get between planets is not the work of an especially long conveyor belt, unfortunately. We must imagine greater miracles. Great feats of science. And something that does help with the general workflow here. They do make sure to give you like a sampler of new tech whenever you unlock
When putting a conveyor belt,
a thing.
all you need to do is determine the starting point and the end point of it. In addition, use the up arrow key to lift up one level, and use the down arrow key to drop down one level after the conveyor belt is lifted. Press keypad 0 to reset the construction height of the conveyor belt to the ground. If you don't want the conveyor belt to be
Just barely outside the
you can
power
try holding
range.
down the shift key.
There.
The sorter is a transportation connector of cargoes between facilities. It will automatically transport them as long as the supply facility and the receiving facility are bridged. You have a building without recipe set. Please set the recipe you want. After selecting the recipe, you can use the less than key to copy the recipe and the greater than key to paste the next building that needs to set the same recipe.
Get some more power into the field. And let's guess, storage cube is available.
You built a storage, which can be used to store cargo. You can manually store or use the sorter to automatically stock the cargo.
Reach this very familiar level of starter tech. Plates. Hands free. I don't know if the storage cube is one of these stackable buildings. It is. Alright. Stack'ems. Simple mechanic that is put in to improve scalability. There are layers. We will learn how to build up. Towards the space. Missed with that one. And just get this. Loading into a storage vessel automatically. That I can stockpile outlandish quantities of carbon. And then let's see, initial tech. For gears and ships. Magnets and ships. I'm almost done all of the things you've researched before inventing the data cube. And starting in on proper laboratories. Yes, let me just... 10 of those. And many of those. Also is illustrated there, so each building has up to three ports, at least this size of building. Has multiple ports that you can latch arms onto for throughput. Or for splitting, or for combining, or otherwise fiddling about. Established our supply of lunch. And I would like to deploy this remaining smelter over by the rock pile. Really would be nice to have two of these out by the rock pile, which don't have the material for on hand at the moment. So we'll get to that soon. Brick making. Glass is also available immediately. In the current state of things, it is just made from rocks, which is unusual to some extent. Anyway. Get laden up with supplies. Gears and ships. To convert into data. No, hold on. You are not powered. There we go. Load them up. Alright, so very soon I can begin the foundational work. Assembler is known. Also, so right away, the first snag that they really hand us in our workflow is magnets here are made directly from iron ore rather than from iron plate. So I need some of that around for many a thing. Reasonably open stretch of land here. Let's clear out some of these pesky woods. The cube. Alright, so the first production chain to create naturally. Go ahead and situate myself some machinery. Here's the conveyor belt maker. The heart of the whole operation. And for our basic conveyor belt, it is just straight up the Factorio recipe of 2 plates, 1 gear. Plate and plate with extra steps. And so with that in mind, make myself some arms. And be ready to make a lot of belt by hand to get things started. Just a storage cube for a destination. Build those in batches of enough because we will always need more. Build a bunch of towers, build a bunch of power generation. Belt will come in bearing iron plate. Off of the belt into there, and off of the belt into there. Alright, storage shed in a moment. and a power pole, which to link this off to the grid. And then I just need to deliver plate. Science lab is known, and in an interesting change of the flow here. So
Matrix Lab. You can use it to make super matrices or research technologies that require them to unlock. The super matrices are the source code of the center brain for maintaining the home world. You can upload as many super matrices to the center brain as possible. You can be benefit to unlock more actual world technologies by operating the home world simultaneously.
exactly. So this is both our science cube assembler and our science cube consumer. We'll be looking to set those up in a bit. There we go. Get a bit more power added to the grid. Things seem fine for now. 5 types of cube. Truly astounding. Let me just create another assembler on the side here. We'll be hard at work making magnets. Or wait, is it a... Alright, yeah, smelter is still the machine that is used to make the magnets. it begins. Tools. Making tools. And get some coils stockpiling. Alright, take a little jaunt back up to the rock pile and finish assembling everything that I'm going to do up here. And we get some cubes running. Come on, Bell. All the way through. Bricks attained. And I guess this is a more convenient spot to be accumulating fuel. So I may as well also tap these. And the other fuel pile has had a chance to run for a while. Yeah, that one over there. Power grid is just peaking out with what we have right now. Slam a bit more capacity onto it, and yeah. Yeah, fuel. Don't worry about it. Fuel for days. Also, yeah, a lot of the small collectibles contain trace amounts of additional resources. Little starter amounts. Soon. There, that'll keep us going for a little bit. And in the time I have spent doing that, conveyor. Yes, belt. Yes, orb. It's not capturing the mouse cursor. Interesting. Curiosities of software. Anyway, let's get a basic science machine up and running. A place in which to forge fresh cubes. The laboratory is also a stackable building. So once I've established this footprint, I can strengthen it a little bit just by making it tall. That one will be set to research. This one will be set to make the blue cube. Made of coil and board. And we'll have that hook up there to serve that. And these devices have a bit of intrinsic longness built into them. conveyor grabbers are of variable length. Manufact. Also, let's see, while I'm in here, hey, upgrades. Engines, steel. Some of these are just made of cube. Jet boots, though. Hole and coils. Red cube needed to learn enhanced stacking. Yeah. Cube needed for that. Cube needed for that. For the moment, let's bring in some familiar design patterns from prior experience with Factorio. Alright, so I have 2 ingredients that we need to go in here and be combined into a science brick. So I'll make some production columns that feed them along on these belts. Belts of themselves only the 1 lane. That's kind of the main structural change. Coming into the basic stuff. Alright, so you are copper plate and magnet. You are copper plate and iron plate. Copper plates would be coming in from out there, or... No, the other copper is way out there. Copper plate will be arriving from over there. These are incredible helpers. Go ahead and create some long belt. Or wait. I will add a second smelter. Yeah. And I'll move this to somewhere else. The drones are quite adventurous. From what I have seen so far, building long conveyor belts is the only early task that actually stresses the drones out like this. Since it's a long string of individual tasks to put down each cube, each square. And now I need to bring in both iron and magnets. Which, alright, good news on one of those. It's already here. It will take a while to get used to the different shortcuts that they have opted for. There's a bunch of UI convenience there, but it will be fighting against Factorio muscle memory for some time. And now this is to go further beyond tall. Lighters. Going to anticipate that magnets would be a bottleneck here for the maid. And so, cubes. Data. Directly into the cyber furnace. Make each of these 2-stack. See the dot there indicating that that layer of the building isn't getting material. Which at this point is a matter of these arms don't work fast enough to keep the building fed. I would need to, like, do one of these and have the belts come around the corner. In order to then do one of these and 2 of these. Fluids are understood. And then more in-betweens to actually shuffle the cubes over for now. Science. Yeah, like the whole stack of building operates as one unit, but it is modularized internally. Alright, so now that that is known, fluid storage gave me water pump and liquid storage tank. I have several points of interest on the queue. I think I'll just stomp around and do a bit more setting up basic infrastructure for a bit while that cycles. Data. Upgraded power towers. Prisms which can be made from glass. Used to create plasma exciters. Oh, and these can be used as a charging point for the robot. Let's establish one of those somewhere. At least. Okay, that is the idea. This is a smaller tower. It's not for powering buildings. This is a robot charging port.
You built a wireless power tower, which is suitable with long-distance power transmission caused by its longer connection distance.
Long
What's exciting
tower.
is that it can also charge mecha by using electricity from the grid.
And the number goes up. Pristine orb. Finely smoothed. Gears, coils, and iron plates to make basic motors. Do I want to end up building around a main bus? Probably, eventually. Depending on the nature of the facility. Okay, for now, the definitive, noble, productive goal to work towards here is let's make an assembler. Find a suitable stretch of map. Start connecting the dots. For the moment, we have no space travel capability. Assembler, iron, gears, and boards. where, once again, I can just have an on-site gear maker. Okay, good. Those personal upgrades are going onto the queue. Many cubes are involved in that. Drive engine will need a lot of magnetic coil. I want to just go ahead and make those by hand. And have them on hand. There is a belt splitter, which is waiting to be researched. My overall state of mind right now is to take things at a leisurely pace. My overall state of things doesn't mind. So if anything, I will just hook up more mining bots. And let them get to work. Though this belt is being underutilized. I can just as well have this iron belt escape. Don't mind me. Things to do over here. Important iron business. There's gears and plates, and then I need chips. When again, a very convenient UI thing that when you mouse over, the tooltip for any given material contains its recipe as well. So yeah, iron and copper. I just need to bring a copper line into this vicinity. Vittori's honking at me. Soul storage cube. I guess I should create, like, my personal, like, dead drop storage box. All that there. Okay, an appropriately arbitrary location to put my, like, personal extended wallet storage mall. As it also occurs to me to be sure that I went and bought... Right, waiting on steel to be able to make inventory capacity up. I put another assembler here. Always need more grabbing arms. Wait. These change places. And I need to bring the belt of copper plate over. Warm and pleasant reminders of early Factorio experiences. Your original Belt Spaghetti Factory. So these are made of more magnets than they are plates. To reach a 2-for-1 deal. It's more of that cube throughput. Assembler online. Just keep that restricted to like 2 entire stacks of assembly machines. However tall a stack of assembly machines is, who knows? Anyway, the most correct arbitrary place to put my personal storage mall: North Pole. Northwise, let's go. We fly.
You have received the ability to fly. Double-click the space key to lift off, and then use the arrow keys to control mecha movement. The moving speed will increase by 150%, with more energy consumed under flight mode. Pressing the Alt key can return the mecha to the ground during the flight. You have unlocked the universe exploration. Now you can click the details display button in the lower right corner of the screen to open real-time distribution details of the ore veins.
Alright, this place needs a bit of a fixing up, but we can begin the ring. We can construct the henge. Alright, so let's see. Oddball materials that I shouldn't be carrying around right now. Silicon, organic crystal, titanium, timberlite. Yeah, the rest of this is all stuff with a purpose. After steel smelting, environment modification. There's a friend. There's a target to work towards. Alright, get that as close to the North Pole as currently reasonable. And install a charging station. I guess to do for later. An objective to work towards is to just kinda... Oh, right though, the charging station is also the long electrical pole. Let's get a couple of those together. Charging station as close to the pole as possible. Pretty long production chain goes towards bringing those together. Yeah, being at the pole means we should never be too far from the sun. This place has an axial tilt of 9 degrees. Yeah, so pretty mild, seasonally. Yeah, the star is up over there. Every so often, there's probably going to be an eclipse when we fall behind that gas giant. Potentially, depending on how long orbital movement goes. And, oh, we have our full breakdown of everything that's on this planet. 3 million iron. 1.4 million copper, 5.4 million stone, 8.6 million coal. An ocean of water. 60% of the planet's surface is usable construction area. 34.3 crude oil per second available. Now it can be what's on other planets. So, pop out to star mode. Fire, ice, and hydrogen on our gas giant neighbor. Inwards here, there is titanium. And out on the ice ball, planet number 4, is some silicon. Useful stuff. And since this is as good a place as any to do it, let's just put out some more wind turbines on a little local grid. We're eventually going to tie this into the rest of the current planetary setup. Okay, good. There we go. The range is just long enough to cross this lake here. We're tied in. We are on the line. Just throw down a charging station here. Refill our wind-powered jetpack, as you do. Everything here is keeping up with current capabilities, so I should stack the science labs another step higher. Hips and medical plates. Alright, these buildings stack pretty high in storage. good to know. Tall. That gave me oil extraction. Can extract oil. Perform some basic separating of materials out of it. While I'm standing here with an open line of copper and iron. Let's see, what else do I really want to get persistent production of going? I could set this down and just do a little limited run of power poles. So that gave me the splitter and the slightly faster grabbing arm. Just one of these setups where we have things going from a storage box to a storage box. Turn 300 magnet wheels into more useful things. We'll be back for the results later. Away. Steel making online, power production, twitching a bit, which I could just as well put up to being a coal to get more better fuel. Though again, I'm not terribly worried about hitting any of these in any particular order. Things will happen at the speed they happen. There's no rush. Got lots of rock, reasonable quantities of glass. Rock mine does good work. a lot of the planet's iron is located in this vicinity. Convenient. Let's... Melters... Do still want to have some magnets on hand. Wait, lack of which material? Very more iron plate, I guess. This is very 3D and very Factorio. And now if I recall right, the steel recipe there is, if I can just pop that off, just iron. Just take iron, throw it back in the oven, wait. And meanwhile also we have learned of graphite. And oh, you can make silicon out of rocks if you have to. Interesting. Need to make an arm maker. That's next on our list. Steel. Okay, so the basic grabber here, a metal plate, and a chip. And I'll just go ahead and skim off of the productivity of that thing. have this iron belt noodle its way on out here. Wonder how much vertical tolerance the grabbing arms have. Are they able to, like... Not quite, but the description there suggests that it's possible. It just requires more space. Science. Great and terrible knowledge. So it should create some graphite as well. Get started with that. A great and terrible knowledge. And yeah, so I did that so that I can then sneak in on this corner and provide iron for the basic power antenna. Stacks of 50. Acceptable. Okay, and we are now no longer providing enough material for all 3 labs. So, remedy that. New limitations. Alright, so we'll need to use this side to cover that. And I'm going to need to put more iron onto this belt. And the most important addition to the family arrives. Another important addition to the family. The good orb. Alright, this may take some rocket surgery. Okay, so if I have it ascend going this way. Then come down out here. Or so. And because belts don't have lanes on them, there are fewer shenanigans to worry about when merging. Indeed. Spaghetti in the third dimension. This is real power. And so, don't need this smelter, or, well, I'll have to gradually take in and use all of the iron that was in that box. Let's place in this ore.
The data shows this is a planet without natural silicone veins. However, you can still obtain some by smelting stone ore. While you still need a massive silicone collection, you need to find a planet rich with silicone veins as soon as possible. Now, you can try to view the whole planetary system, and even the entire cluster, by clicking the star map button in the lower left corner of the screen.
And we already did some of the looking around and thinking about regarding other planets to visit. Harness. For now, I think we just hang out here. We have local problems to consider. As far as I've seen, there is no combat element in the base game here. It's good. It's a purely productive and creative environment. Build things. Where do I have rocks and iron? Convenient proximity of each other. Right over there. Well. Bring out a little power line. Are we near the equator of the planet? Yes. We are. Well, actually, furthermore, it is on the UI, your latitude and longitude. Yeah, this is 2 degrees north. Now, let's just go ahead and establish a device. With the goal of the manufacture and accumulation. Concrete. Pave the world. Low on intermediate supplies. But I will return. Got arms, got assemblers. Got belt. Yeah, I can start working away at these. Out of juice. Hold on. Go stand next to a charging station for a bit. I should always be carrying one of those. Real acid. Sulfur. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're getting somewhere. That's technology. And this, for now, is being throttled by how quickly I'm loading rocks into it. Notice 3-to-1. Many more rocks than steel. Steel is in fact heavier than the feathers. We will gain knowledge of Red Cube. Tonight will not be the time to assemble Red Cube, only to contemplate it, to know and appreciate. Still need that graphite. Engines.
Foundation, a terrain leveling tool, yet we cannot use it to change the planetary landforms at will. We can only level the surface to ground zero. If the foundation is used for high grounds, it will gain soil pile. On the contrary, if it is used on the ocean or low-lying areas, it must consume soil pile. When installing the foundation, either choose a kind of decoration or without decoration, even only surface leveling.
Now you know.
Insufficient required items. You can click the replicator button at the bottom right of the screen to open the panel and manually replicate these items.
Good beat. Sun is known. So I need to make some graphite. That just done in assembler? No. Probably done in a smelter. And then while I'm here, carbon usage in mind, hey, I got this thing now. Flammable power station.
A thermal power station. Such power facilities need to consume chemical energy fuels. If you want it to generate continuous and stable power, you need to ensure a sufficient fuel supply at all times.
There's graphite. It's unclear to what degree this station is going to, like, ration power or throttle itself, or, like, the priorities of different power generators on the grid. To be determined. Such are the mysteries of the machine. Let's get the rest of this handful of graphite into the body. And we can accumulate more for later. Yeah, all this is stopped because we aren't using cube at the moment for this upgrade. $120 chips for inventory 1. Scrounge those out of the machinery while it's idle. Scale of robotman unknown. Big enough. Build one little preliminary oil refining setup. Concrete supply continues. Charging station down here. Let's see, let's get to like exactly there. Plus inventory. Alright, I keep ending up oriented. Oddly. This is north and south right now. I'm looking along. This is the equator of the planet. Pole is up there. Took a right angle turn in the power grid to come over here and install this. The power of spheres. Get this going faster. Throw in more smelters. Roast that brick. Copy. Oh, it's whatever I'm pointing at with the cursor. Works for that. I don't need to actually select the building in question to copy a recipe off of it. Good to know. Potentially very dangerous. And I have enough fuel to fly full quarter turn around this planet. It begins, the smoothening. Need to leave over however much of the ocean I'm going to use to, you know, supply water for productive purposes. And yeah, over here, next to the lab is where I was thinking about doing basic oil experiments. Yeah, alright.
This facility will produce multiple products. To divide them, you need to set a filter on the sorter. You can use Tab or the arrow keys on the right side of the keyboard to quickly set the filter when building the sorter.
Oil is stored in crates and moved along conveyor belts, because why wouldn't it? Hold on. Charge. Need to void into some plant matter. There we go. Alright, so for now we just have our one basic oil-related recipe. Crude becomes refined oil and hydrogen. Naturally, these byproducts are transported in cubes on a conveyor belt.
You built a storage tank. It is more suitable for storing fluid than the storage. Each storage tank can only store one single type of fluid and can be built vertically. However, once it has been removed, all the stored fluid will be devastated.
Just
Production
devastated.
now has reached a certain scale. Now click the statistics panel button at the bottom right corner of the screen to view statistics. It includes the output consumption of each item, electricity.
Alright, so let's make this side do hydrogen, this side do oil. And these liquid storage tanks, I can just put belt directly into them. Unpack the fluid crates. Stow them accordingly. Liquid hydrogen. Just flowing around. No worries here. Alright, so I should build some motors in order to make the robot go faster. And that would bring me to the end of things that could be done with the basics. Superconductors. Superconductors are a basic blue tech. Nothing fancier needed there. Processor also available. Alright, those handful of residual items later, we will have basic blue tech. Build out. An ordinary household superconductor. This being my current fabricating facility. Go motor. You are made of coil and gear and plate. Let's take advantage of the extra coils that are available off of the science machine. Engine. You make gears. Loose end for the iron belt is right there. Have my splitter though.
Splitter with 4 directions. It can split the passing cargo or balance the cargo on multiple conveyor belts. The splitting speed depends on the conveyor belt speed. Use the tab key to switch between different styles, and click it to set priorities and filters.
You mean collide with another object? There's nothing there, right? Right. Just being strange, I suppose. It's made. Keep a sizable emergency coal ration in your pocket, just in case. Okay, so further thing to do, build more long-range wireless towers. Enough to kind of wrap the planet in a nice healthy power skeleton. Get all those watts and volts from anywhere to anywhere. Allow the robot to remain comfortably on the grid. So to facilitate that, it would make a more properly fed setup for regular power and then long-range power. Plenty of other locales I could go to on this planet in order to set that up. There's no need to really start centralizing productivity on this planet into larger facilities yet. Probably won't be important until I am planning to leave. Which, alright, let's look at the tech tree and have a think about when exactly that will happen. Hydrogen fuel rod. Thrusters, which allow for interplanetary logistics. Seems about right. Yeah, and deuterium is sitting there. Solar sail. That is many fancy looking materials. And with it, definitely the sense that, yeah, logistics drones, logistic stations. Yeah, so automatic shipping between planets in this system is going to happen at Red Cube. And then interstellar shenanigans begin during Yellow Cube. Yeah, it's a noticeable boost in speed. It's pretty brisk. Many possibilities await. And okay, that's made of graphite and oil. All right, before we completely check out Tractor oil refinery, we did get a sample chemical plant. What can I do in that? This was foremost before that, I was already aware of from the test session that I did, that our recipe for Red Cube. Red Cube is made of graphite and hydrogen. So right away, that is half of our use for oil in the immediate sense. This is science waiting to happen. The rest of it, though. Oh, they didn't give us a trial chemical plant. Still gotta build it. Fair enough. Here in the chemical plant, we can make plastic out of graphite and oil, or sulfuric acid out of oil, rocks, and water? Uses for plastic and sulfuric acid to be determined. raw silicon becomes pure silicon, which can become all sorts of things. Including being an ingredient in solar panel. Yeah, we don't actually have an accumulator yet for power storage. Any excess solar is wasted. I'm not carrying any extra graphite, so actually no worries here. Everything to do with oil processing can be worked out as the materials appear. So it's right now even a single oil pump could run several refineries. There's ratios to suss out. Power grid just about peaks. Things to do. For now. That's a fine day's work. Project starts somewhere. Spheres.